It's using indicators, a BMW using indicators. Hello guys, welcome back to Car Obsession and welcome to another point of view video. Following feedback from you lovely viewers, I will be doing more talking in my point of view videos from now on, which you may regret because, as some of you may know, I can talk for England, but I'll try not to talk too much so you can appreciate the car, appreciate the ride, and yes, just appreciate the journey. The car I'm in this time is the new MG5 EV, which, as you can guess from the name, is a fully electric vehicle. So, let's go for a drive.
The pool.
That is very annoying. Switch it to drive, and away we go. So, the MG5 is available in two trim levels, Excite and Exclusive. I've got the latter, which has a starting price of £27,595, but if you go for the Excite, that has a starting price of £25,095. Now, you will need to excuse me, this is quite a busy junction.
A few minutes later,
I've got what I think is a brand new BMW M3 behind me. He's going to be a bit annoyed that he's stuck behind an electric car. Yeah, sorry. So, yes, MG5 EV. So no matter which version you go for, you'll get an electric motor which offers 156 horsepower along with 260 Newton meters of torque. If you prefer that in pound-feet, I will of course drop a subtitle below. In regard to performance, this will hit 60 miles per hour in 7.3 seconds and the top speed is 115 miles per hour. I'm sure you're more concerned about the range. Bear with me. National speed limit. This is, yeah, quite a rapid car. I've left that M3 for dead. Or M4. Yes, in regard to range, which I'm sure you're more concerned about, if you go for the standard version, like I have, well, I say like I have, this has been given to me by MG Motor UK for a week. Thank you, MG Motor UK. If you go for the standard car, you're going to get a range of up to 214 miles, but you do have the option of a long range version, which will cost you £1,400 extra. That increases the range to 250 miles. In regards to charging times, this car will take 50 minutes to get from 0 to 80% using a 50 kilowatt charger, whereas the long range version will do the same in 61 minutes. This car uses a 52.5 kilowatt hour battery, whereas the long range version has a 61.1 kilowatt hour battery. In regard to standard features I've got on this car, I've got 16-inch alloys, keyless entry, reversing camera, rear parking sensors, 7-inch digital display which you can see in front of me, or in front of you as well, because of course you're joining me for this journey, an 8-inch touchscreen with navigation, smartphone connectivity, Bluetooth and navigation. Not too sure if I've said navigation. I've got heated front seats, leather style seats. My driver's seat is 6-way electronically adjustable. I've got auto air conditioning and adaptive cruise control. So pretty well kitted out, I'm sure you'll agree. I've also got an auto dimming rear view mirror, which is kind of a given nowadays, but the Excite model doesn't get that. In regard to, I keep saying in regard to, apologies. Let's speak about the way how this car drives, which is pretty average to be fair. The ride is quite unsettled, so you may see my head bobbing about a little bit, for which I do apologise. This car isn't uncomfortable, but the chassis is quite unsettled. It feels like it's got ants in its pants. It's never relaxed. I'm not going to focus too much on the handling because, well, that does leave a lot to be desired. However, this car hasn't been designed to set the next fastest time around the Nürburgring, so I will forgive it of its shortcomings. So they aren't really complaints per se, they are more observations, more just feedback. The steering weight is pretty good, but like the ZS I tested a few weeks ago, it does feel quite elastic. It feels like there's a little pixie inside just tugging back, because the steering wheel is a bit too keen to self-center. There's also a pronounced amount of body roll in the corners as well, and overall this isn't a fun or dynamic car to drive, although I wouldn't really expect it to be, because it is a sensible, practical, good value family estate car. It's got a big boot, the space in the rear is good, space in the front is pretty good, although for my driving position my left knee is very close to the stalk for the cruise control, and it does hit it sometimes, which is a bit annoying, but that's probably due to my height. I'm 6'2", in case you're wondering. I reckon that beam is going to roar past me in a few moments. I really like that green. Hopefully you can see it in my near side of wing mirror. Looking rather menacing. And if he doesn't overtake me, I will be very surprised. Look, he's using indicators. A BMW using indicators. I got it on film. Oh, it was an M4. Oh, that's nice. I like the back, but the front, yeah. The grille does look better in person, but I'm still not sold. Anyway, as much as I'd love to talk more about that car, you came here for the MG5 EV. Now that I'm on faster roads, let's speak about Refinement. As you can tell, the road noise has just picked up, but this road surface is a bit more coarse. It's not quite as good. So it is pronounced, but I don't feel like I need to shout, although I do feel the temptation to raise my voice just a few decibels, which you may have picked up on. The wind noise is okay, but once you get up to motorway speeds, it does become a bit more noticeable. Visibility, I must say, is very good. So there's a large amount of glassware, and seeing out of the MG5 EV is a doddle. But of course, if you need more assistance, you do have a reversing camera and rear parking sensors. No front sensors, which is a little bit disappointing, but hey, you can't have everything. Ah, that's a bit better, a bit quieter. Nice new tarmac. Right, that's quite a lot of talking from me, so we'll just shut up for a bit, so you can really just appreciate the sounds of the car and just the drive as a whole. I don't think I've mentioned it up until this point, but I've got 3 driving modes at my disposal. So I've got a little toggle switch down here. So I've got Sport, Normal or Eco, all of which are pretty self-explanatory. So let's pop it into Sport. There we go, a bit slow to react. I will just move over because I've got this Transit quite desperate to get past me. Go. And now he's moved over anyway. Good one. I've also got a toggle down here marked KERS, and some of you who watch Formula 1, that term may be very familiar, although this is far from a Formula 1 car. For those of you that don't know what KERS stands for, oh, a lovely R8 Spider over there. It stands for Kinetic Energy Recovery System, and it's basically a fancy way of saying this car's got regenerative braking. This has 3 settings, 1, 2 or 3. No, you just didn't see me. Alright. Fair enough. Setting 1 is the weakest setting, whereas setting 3 is the strongest setting. I've got it in setting 2 now. Even in setting 3, it isn't quite enough to give you that kind of one pedal driving that you can get from cars such as a Nissan Leaf. Speaking of the brakes, the feedback through the brake pedal is a bit numb. First stab of the brake pedal and you don't really get much sense of what's happening until you apply a bit more pressure. Speaking of numb, the front end in the corners is quite detached. You don't really get a great sense of what's going on, although as I've said, this car isn't built for handling, so I should really lay off the poor MG. I've had this car for almost a week now. This has been loaned to me by MG Motor UK, so this isn't my own personal car. And it's been a very easy car to live with. We'll let him go, then I will follow suit. The ergonomics inside the cabin are pretty good. Everything's laid out nicely. The adjustment for the wing mirrors is in a bit of a quirky place. It's down here by my right knee where you can't see it. Not here on the door card or up there or even down here, which I have seen on some cars. No, it's down here near the start-stop button, which I would argue is a bit quirky. Speaking of quirky, look at that old ambulance. That's lovely. I don't think I would... Oh, I thought it said ambulance on it. It's got sirens on it. Anyway, what I was going to say is I don't think I'd trust that to save me in an emergency. It'd probably break down. The interior is a nice enough place to be. Yes, one could argue that the interior materials are cheap, but hey, this is a cheap car. I think it has to be hard pressed to find a car of this ilk at this price that's really plush and premium inside. But to MG's credit, they have tried. They put the leather style seats in there, nice gloss black detailing, some silver detailing, and it isn't a bad place to be. I've got no complaints. Drop it down, there we go. New speed limit. I'm trying to work out if it's meant to be an ambulance or perhaps like a little fire engine. It is red after all. Doesn't sound very healthy. That is pretty cool though. The touchscreen is nice and vibrant. It is easy to use, but watch this. This footage has not been slowed down. Now, before some of you moan, my eyes are still on the road, but I've just turned my head to the left so you can see the touchscreen. To be fair, that was actually pretty quick by the touchscreen standards, but yes, it isn't the fastest system to use. So if you're in a hurry, if you're late for work, or you shouldn't need a sat nav for work, but if you're late for a meeting, you may find that to be quite annoying. And press the middle button to go home. We've got Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, which is good because some of the early MGs I drove, they had, from memory, Apple CarPlay but no Android Auto, and I've got a Galaxy S10, which I really ought to upgrade by now. I'm a bit behind the times. There will of course be a full review of this car coming, if it hasn't done so already. So you get a more, not more insight, but you get a more overall look at the car, as opposed to me just literally just point of view. Oh, that sun is lovely. It should theoretically be raining about now. I don't know why I'm checking my watch, because I've got a clock there. Yeah, it should be raining, so I'm not going to complain. It's lovely down here on the south coast of England. Very pleasant. Guys, if you've got any questions or queries, please drop them in the comment section below, and I will answer you as quickly as I can and to the best of my ability. And hopefully you've found this video useful or helpful. If you're thinking about buying an MG5 EV, I do hope I've been able to answer some of the questions that you may have had. But like I say, if you do have any questions, please do get in touch. I'm also on social media, so I'm on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook at Car Obsession UK, all one word, nice and straightforward. I'd say Instagram is the best way to get me. I don't check Twitter or Facebook as much, so bear that in mind. I'm not really too sure how long I've been talking for, but I feel I'm at a point where I could probably bring this video to a close. So let me just turn off here, just randomly, so I can sign off. And I think here will do nicely. Pop it into park by pressing the big P button, and there we go. So guys, I do hope you have enjoyed this video or found it useful. If you are looking to buy this car, I do hope some of my insights have been useful for you. If you have enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.